We'll do a little quick interview. It'll be nice.
Close but not too close?
Close but not too close. Paul told me I needed to project so that I met your level. That's what he said.
It's true. When I get to these tens of people, I don't know if I'll be screaming, but...
Well, you've had a claw.
I'm going to have another claw, and hopefully...
A few more.
I'm thinking like a dozen, a baker's dozen maybe.
We should have had them as a sponsor, obviously.
I think that White Claw should sponsor most of the stuff we do here at Black Circle, honestly.
Well, it's a commodity at this point. It's a trader's good.
It's worth your money in gold, I think, if you ask Jesse.
Or silver.
Yeah, aluminum.
Precious metals. What do you think, Paul? Doing decent? All right, we're going to do a little interview. Yeah. Hey, everybody. We got a little echo in the room, but we're trying to manage it. Paul's going to get it under control.
See, I don't even hear stuff like that.
Well, no, you don't have to. Just drink your claw. All right, welcome to Black Circle Sessions, y'all. We're having a session tonight with the infamous, also famous, Kendra Stone.
Infamous is right, yeah.
Both of those things, I think, are right. We're here at Black Circle. This is something new we're starting where we're doing interviews with all of our favorite performers, and we've got one of our favorites on stage tonight.
It's an honor.
My name is Alex Lukens. I'm not here who you're here to see, but I am with who you're here to see right now, Miss Kendra Stone. I'm chatting with a bunch of different Black Circle performers, and I think you're probably the pinnacle of Black Circle performers. How would you take that charge?
I think that's very nice of you to say, but I think that I am maybe one of the pinnacles of the performances here.
Numerous
performers
pinnacles.
Here, yeah.
How are things? How have things been in the last few weeks for you?
We did probably the biggest show we've ever done here. We did the Mean Girls tribute a couple weeks ago, and that ever since then it's one of those things that happen that, I completely feel projected after it. Like, there's a lot of stuff that you do, like photo shoots, or like it took a little bit, not very long, but a little bit for like bingo to be popular and stuff. But I felt like right after that show, I was starting to feel like the effects of like what we did.
What were those early bingo shows like for you when you were kind of getting not only the show together, but also the crowd together?
Well, the show itself, the very first one we did, it was just me and my friend Ava. And we were like, you know what, we're just going to do it. We'll both do one number, and, they probably won't even tip. There might not be people there. They probably are just more concerned with the bingo than they are the performance. And me and Ava made some good money that night, and it was just us. And so...
That's a good proof of concept.
There are a lot of people who, as a host, you have to train your audience.
What do you mean by that? How do you mean?
So, especially at like a drag show or even burlesque shows, if you want people to tip, you got to tell them you want money.
That's part of the show.
That is, yeah. Because, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, honey. So we came out here, and I basically just got drunk and bullshitted on the microphone for 3 hours while we played bingo, and
people showed up.
And they liked it. They thought it was cool.
So it was just owing to you that people showed back up. Like, what do you think?
Yeah. I think that I knew the first show we were gonna get a good turnout, like at least with personal friends, and like some of the community members were really excited that we were doing it. But I think it ended up being about like the third show where I was like, they want to come for the show and not the bingo. Like, they're here to play bingo, but they're really here to watch the show.
And they know to tip.
They do, yeah. They do now because I yelled at them so much. But
what's it like for you to? Rarely am I up on this stage. What's it like for you to look out and to see a full room? What does that feel like for you as a performer?
I think everyone deserves that moment, but here especially. This room is not cozy, but it's not cold and huge. It's like you can fill it with a lot more people if you need to, but like one person at every seat looks like you've packed the house asses to elbows. And it just feels good to come up here and it's a bunch of people looking at you,
Gotcha.
And that's exactly what I want.
Perfect. Perfect. So you recently celebrated a couple days ago the 1-year anniversary of Black Circle Bingo here at Black Circle. What did you have a drag show in mind first, and then you wanted to do bingo after it, or did you have bingo in mind first? I know you've been doing this for a while as a drag performer, but
I have only been doing drag since January of 2018. Wow. So it was, I was tired of seeing the same 12 entertainers be booked at every single queer venue or every single, when RuPaul's Drag Race came to town, they had the same 4 girls opening for them. Same
routine.
Yeah, and then, as I was performing and looking for gigs, it was occurring to me that being a new performer, you can perform for free if they like you. You can perform for money if they like you and they think you're talented, but you can perform for a reasonable booking if you are on RuPaul's Drag Race or you have some sort of title. At least that's how it is in indie.
So less about your ability to perform and more about your ability to have already performed or to have already landed.
Yeah, they kind of want... Before I started producing shows, there were a lot of people who... It was merit-based booking, but they didn't feel like anyone outside of these 6 people had the merit to be booked,
Well, I feel like drag has really come up in Indianapolis in the last year or so.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so, do you feel like it feels the same in terms of I feel like you have to really be a performer. You have to be talented. You have to. I feel like there's a lot of competition maybe at this point.
I don't look at it as competition. I look at it as opportunity to see new types of entertainment. When you go to a show and this person does burlesque, this person does drag, this person is doing flow artistry, and you're like, how would I fit into this production bill? You're like, I've got to do something. The old song and dance and the whole lip syncing and just taking people's money, it doesn't really work anymore. You need a concept. You need to understand what you're doing on stage. You don't just go straight out to the crowd and start asking for money. It's
it's a story. It's a narrative.
You have to and I think the more people who have started doing drag and the more shows there are and the more venues there are that are comfortable with drag, I think the better off we'll be.
Fair.
So,
what to that would you say? What for you prompted your journey into drag performance, and what was your outset? How'd you start?
I want to travel the world.
Fair.
I really do. I want to live that hotel lifestyle. I want to be a rock star. I want to go fucking party. I want to do that. And I had been serving and bartending forever, and it was just I would literally sit at work and be like, God, this fucking sucks. I was like, when am I gonna get to see the fucking world?
Well, and also maybe the drag performance also you can kind of drink, you can have that be a part of the performance as opposed to and get paid for it.
I think I don't. Everyone knows their limits, and so long as you are able to be on time, be prompt, know how you're going to portray yourself on stage, what you're then we have no problem,
Partying.
drinking. And, a lot of the sponsors are alcohol sponsors,
Absolutely.
and that's
We're here at a brewery, yeah.
I don't see a problem in that.
Not at all.
I really don't. I enjoy a cocktail, several cocktails, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to have several cocktails and still do my fucking shit.
Yeah.
So
no, you're better than I am. Yeah, you're better than I am.
My shit is different though. It's just different.
All right, so we're here on a drag night, a drag performance. It's office themed. I was going to ask you, how does Haus of Stoner? How do you come up with a theme? Is that something tossed around in the green room? Is that something you think
the
up?
Themes are basically they revolve around either me or Jesse have an idea for a show, or I have a show that what was the first one we did that the theme just was so great that we were like,
Austin Powers.
I think Austin Powers.
Shagadelic.
Yeah.
Shagadelic, yeah.
Jesse had suggested doing like an Austin Powers show, and I was like, that's perfect. Like, let's fucking do it. And the response was overwhelming, and we were like, well, let's do another movie. Like, let's do,
yeah.
I think after Austin Powers, did we do Under the She, The Little Mermaid? Because that's when everyone was freaking out about Ariel being black.
Right.
And so we had Ava be Ariel because
Naturally.
fuck anyone who thinks that Ariel can't be a black person or
Right.
a person of color,
Well, and I think coming up in October, you've got Horcrux, you've got a number
The
of other
Harry
females.
Potter, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to do Bring It On really bad.
Bring It On would be great.
I want to do Bring It On.
The crowd agrees.
Yeah.
All right, so over the last, so you've been doing it, you said January 2018, is that right? So you've been doing drag performance for a little over a year, maybe closer to 2.
Yeah, a year and some change.
And you're all over the place now. For the viewers looking at home, you're on a Crowler label.
My face is on alcohol. Dream come true.
You are a
honestly.
rock star. You are a rock star.
I love that. That seriously was the coolest fucking thing to me. I want to keep one forever.
What was there something similar to, like, say, this Crowler label, or, like, when you were early on? Like, what would you say was, like, maybe your first kind of moment of, you got to see
Being
yourself?
immortalized, yeah. So the first, like, fan art that I got was, like, a couple months into drag, and I used to make these, like, I still make lashes, but I used to make these, like, really long and, like, spidery kind of, like, lashes. And my friend was inspired by that and, like, drew my face. And it was really awesome because it was, like, fan art, and it was the first piece of fan art. And we never really did anything with it. But before we got the Crowler labels, we started making shirts. And, like, I'm on a T-shirt. And
Please
that
buy
was
one. Please buy
no,
one.
we're out.
Sold out. You can't buy one. It's not
We're
possible.
sold out. So until I figure out how to get more. But...
Okay, all right. So you've been in this drag performance
yeah,
thing for...
I would have to pay him off first. Thanks for reminding me, Jesse. Finances, he knows.
I was going to ask you, over the last, say, 2 years or so...
This wig is heavy as fuck.
What do you see as some of the risks you face, some of the challenges you face? What have been kind of combative situations that I imagine you've had to face? What has that felt like for you, and how have you dealt with them?
So there are, naturally... there are going to be people who don't necessarily want to see you succeed. And, it's in my time of, like, success in doing these shows, it's been some of the older, like, members of our community who use, like, really problematic language and kind of, like, unwilling to change their opinions on, like, gender and sexuality and stuff that to me are really important and would be the deciding factor of whether I would hang out with you in my personal life or just work with you in my business life. And, a lot of that it's part of that, like, call out culture. Like, there's been all kinds of, like, online shit that we have to address and fighting online and back and forth and, like, people telling people things about me when, like, I don't even know who the fuck you are. Like, I've never, half these people I've never even fucking met because they've never been to one of my shows. So why the fuck do I care?
Yeah, well, and sold out anyway.
I
so
don't see you at any show, so you can't tell me that your commitment is the community.
Yeah, not at all.
Because I pay more people in this community and more entertainers in this community than a lot of these people out here who run shows 3 or 4 times a week. Greg's.
Good work. Yeah, I agree. I was going to ask, so in terms of House of Stoner and kind of this cadre of drag performance that you've kind of cultivated over the last couple of years, when you're doing a theme night, when you're performing, does every performer kind of like, okay, we're doing The Office tonight, right? Does every performer, like, take a scene and say, that's mine, and say, that's how I'm going to do it? Or is it, what's the process like?
So right now what we're doing is I will make applications, like a Google form, and it will be basically like, give me your information, and then what idea do you have for this show? And I want to know what monologue you're going to use. I want to know what song you're going to use. I want to know what you're going to wear. We are looking for fully realized concepts that, you have in your head, and maybe all you need is the push of putting it down on paper and saying that I'm going to do it, and then they do it.
To get it on stage.
And then they finally get on stage, and I, right now, am the one who organizes, who does what, and based on like application and participation with performers, that kind of leaves. I was just telling Jesse, like, me making my mix for The Office, like, I kind of had to use like the scraps of like what everyone else didn't pick, and like, for like the Under the She, like, there wasn't really a good character left after it. So, I focus a lot more on hosting on nights like that, and, try and do like a number that like makes sense with the show. So
that makes sense. Well, and would you say that as you're deciding on all of these different routines and thinking about House of Stoner as something that you started,
it actually was not me who started House of Stoner.
Well, talk to me about that. What was the development of that?
So House of Stoner.
Where do you see yourself now?
Okay, so I was just Kendra when I started drag, and I didn't want to do a last name because I really wanted like that relationship of like a drag house, which, if you don't know, is basically a group of people who take care of each other, traditionally in circumstances where like your family has abandoned you, or you've come out to people and they don't trust you as the person as you are, and a house is a way for you to always have support and friends, and I don't know how everyone else does it, but we have a group chat, and the group chat is lit 24/7. So, and we're always like bouncing ideas off of each other, and really supporting each other emotionally, and not just professionally in like us making a business that is House of Stoner. And we all are marijuana advocates. We believe that there is a lot of stigma that surrounds people smoking weed or any kind of THC that is not very fair, and we realize that people are wrongfully incarcerated for minor marijuana charges, a lot of the time based on the color of their skin or how passable they are as what someone would consider as like an upstanding citizen. And there's a lot of inequality surrounding that. And we are activists for stuff like that, because it's not just, we do a number about getting high and blah, blah, blah. We will literally talk to people and figure out exactly what it is that, like, where do you start to think that someone who smokes weed is not a professional person? And we kind of challenge stuff like that.
And would you say that with your show, do you feel then as a marijuana advocate, like, and advocate for many other causes, like, do you feel your show is political, and how so?
Someone asked me the other day how political my show is, because they're concerned that if they were to participate in one of my shows, that their job would find out, and they wanted to know how much trouble they would be in, basically. And what I want to say is that drag is art, and art is subjective, and art is political. And it is here to make you think twice about your daily life, who you believe you trust, and what affects you versus what's actually happening to people. Especially, I know House of Stoner, we think that there is a giant problem in the police force, in not just a bad cop here. We truly believe that there is an issue in the training of these people, and how they will try and make you be afraid of everything. And we just don't think that's the case.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. How do you think that House of Stoner as a house, how do you think that for you, when you've landed here in the Indianapolis drag scene, how does House of Stoner mesh with maybe the drag community at large?
Well, first and foremostly, Lopone is a monthly event that is held here in Indianapolis. They're the first Saturday of every month, and they were the start of me feeling like I belonged in a queer community. Because before then, there was not much as far as different body types and sizes and different ethnicities and different styles of drag. Like Lopone was the very first show here in Indianapolis to celebrate a more alternative style of drag. And not to say that I am an alternative queen. I mean, I do believe that I'm an alternative queen, but I know that has been the thing that made like the House of Stoner feel like maybe people do want to come and see a show like this, or like seeing their success, it made us feel like, like if it's going really well for them, like let's all do this together. Like it could happen to me if people come to their show, then like they'll come to our show and we can help support everything,
Well, and they've moved the other tables in, so people are stacking in for the show here.
Yes,
soon.
there are a couple people here. Yes, I'm excited for tonight. It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be cool. I was gonna ask you. You're mentioning different types of drag and incorporating different kind of types of performance into a show. Could you, for a layperson, kind of lay out for yourself, what do you see as kind of the different types of drag and maybe
the
some
different
of those
categories of drag?
Right.
Hold on. Okay, because this is a good one. I love this question. There is camp, there is horror, there is alternative, which means that they traditionally take themes from punk and crust punk and metal, and there's like emo drag. There is, there are comedians that's like separate from camp. There are, there are flow artists who do drag. There are people who, like Ryan, like they are a flow artist and they use lights and all different types of materials. There are dragtivists, which are people who only use drag as a platform to speak of an injustice or, something that would be considered activism or speaking up for someone else. There is goth drag. There's, millennial drag is a thing now too. Back in the older drag days, people would categorize you as like, oh, is she fish? Is she passing? Like, they're looking for like an illusionist, and honestly, it's
an approximation.
It's a problematic way to, grade someone's art, and at least the House of Stoner and the people that we associate ourselves with, we don't use the term fish because that's a misogynistic word that no one needs to fucking reclaim because it's not okay.
Fair.
But yeah, I mean, there is a glamour drag. There is pageant drag. There people with giant big old hair like me, but they're not wearing like a Kmart outfit. They're wearing like a ball gown and shit. Like, there's the drag. It's endless because it's art.
Well, and so with kind of what you've said about recent incorporations of different forms and things like that, have you had your own horizons broadened by things like incorporating burlesque and other forms into performance? Like,
I'm sad that this is the first time we mentioned burlesque already, because that was, when we started getting a lot of success here with the shows, that was a really important thing that I felt like I needed to share with the audience, because there is so much power in burlesque performers, and their goal is to come out and just fuck everyone in the audience. And a good burlesque performer will do that, and they will come out here and they will make you feel like the only person in the fucking room. And that requires so much talent as an audience member. And I think that is why my shows are very successful, because I really enjoy being in the audience. I consider my job the best seat in the house. I get to see literally every single person's performance. I am paying attention to these people. I am tipping these people. Like, this show I made because I wanted to see it.
Absolutely. Well, how would you qualify a good audience performer?
Someone who doesn't look too eager for money, because we love money. I don't do drag because I need money. I need money because I do drag. Like, it's not, if that makes any sense at all. Like, it's like being in drag, that is the longest con to get money. because no one is paying you in your first year, probably. I don't know. That's just been my experience. No one's probably going to pay you for a long time, and even if they are paying you, they might not be paying you what you think you're worth. But that's not why you do drag. You do drag because you love it. So that's another thing that I want to see in a performer. Like, when they get on stage, I want to see someone who is fully committed to whatever they're doing. I want to see someone who does not look like they're desperately reaching for money before they do anything to deserve it. Sorry. And I want to see someone who is confident. Unless, of course, the number that they're doing calls for a really insecure thing. I want someone to take me there, basically. Like,
The performance to take you to a different place.
yes. Because we can all come out here and have 12 beers and shake our fucking asses and, maybe do it on beat. But honestly, the best thing is when you have someone who has a concept and they know what they're doing.
Well, and that's why when you're looking for performance, that's exactly what you're looking for.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So future plans. So you've year of Drag Bingo, you've been doing this for a while and you've really grown your presence. What do you see as the future? Where do you want to take yourself in the next 6 months, a year?
In the next 6 months, I hope to have 2 more shows a month. And I want to, so we have the show here every Tuesday. I have a show one Thursday a month at Burnside Inn on Mass Ave. I have a show once a month at the Coterie in Kokomo. A show once a month at Indiana City Brewery over on the east side. And I would like a steady brunch show. I would like to audition for RuPaul's Drag Race, Dragula, and Camp Wanakiki. And I would like to let my friends in a little bit more on some of the production and the flyering and the social media stuff, because I think that I felt like for a long time I wanted to do it, and I'm kind of a control freak, if you could imagine. And, if I couldn't find whatever the equation is to make all of the shows work, how the fuck is someone else supposed to do it? So I really want to let some other people get involved and see what kind of new ideas we can get and new performers. And I want new ideas, and I want more bookings.
Naturally.
And I want the audition. And you didn't ask, but I'm going to tell you. Auditioning for those shows, like RuPaul's Drag Race and Camp Wanakiki and Dragula and shit like that, is really hard, especially as a drag queen, because they expect you to have not only the personality, the charisma, the uniqueness, nerve, and talent. They want you to videotape it. They want you to edit it. They want you to make it look good, and they want you to convince them to be on the show in and out of drag. It is a long process. Like, audition tapes are 30 minutes.
Well,
like,
and honestly, kind of like having 2 personas at once, kind of showing yourself on
and they want to make
sides.
sure you're not going to hurt anybody.
Well, that makes sense. Well, when you do the audition tape, let me know. I can edit it for you.
I would love that. Yeah, I really would.
So, second to last question, with future plans, as a drag performer, what scares you about the future?
I am most afraid of being boring or doing the same thing too much, and people like reusing or recycling ideas that are just stale. I don't ever want to be on that side of creativity.
Doing the same thing day in, day out.
I think that most artists will tell you that they have a theme to most of the media and the look and the feel of what they want their art to be. And so much of what drag performers do is, it's not necessarily the most creative thing. It's not the fact that I came up with it first or I'm the only one doing it, but if it's stale, it's stale,
It's done and tired.
Exactly.
Got it.
So that's one of my fears. I think the other fear is not being able to change, wanting to continue to do the same thing over and over again. I think they kind of go together, but it's kind of like I don't want people to be bored with me, and I don't want me to be bored with me.
And that's introspective, and it's looking out, and I mean that takes up a lot of brain power.
It sure the fuck does. It's what keeps me awake at night.
Good work. Last thing I was just going to ask you before we wrap up, is there anything else you want to tell us? Anything you burning on your mind before we take a break and then get settled for the drag show?
No, I'm just excited for the show tonight. I'm so thankful to you. It's an honor to do this. Honestly, if you asked me and my mom in the 7th grade, we wouldn't have thought anyone would have given a fuck what I had to say. So.
Well, we all give a fuck what you have to say, Kendra.
Thank you. Now you do.
Well, now we do. Thanks so much to Kendra Stone. This is Black Circle Sessions. I'm Alex Lukens. We'll see you for the show here in just a little bit.
Yes.